Welcome to Demystify Magic with Molly and Madison.
I'm Molly, a former skeptic, now full-time energy healer, author, and your resident science meets spirit nerd.
And I'm Madison, a born and raised witch, teacher of the craft, and owner of not one, not two, but 3 metaphysical businesses.
Together we dig into low-effort witchcraft, spirituality, and the science that backs it all up, all with humor, heart, and a sprinkle of chaos.
So whether you're a curious skeptic or a seasoned witch, find a cozy spot, take a deep breath, and let's demystify some magic.
Howdy doody, friends. We have a very special episode, one that has been requested, has been coming up in our DMs, has been coming up in our various communities.
Some might say demanded even.
Demanded. It wasn't really a demand. It was like, oh my gosh, please, please, please. And we're like 10 steps ahead of you. We have Beck Ravenswood in the house. If you are not familiar with Beck, you are about to be very familiar with Beck. Beck is a witch, a tarot reader, and the owner of the Serpent's Key in Hanover, Pennsylvania, who you may be familiar with because they got a visit from the local police in 2023 warning them that reading tarot for money could land them in jail. Yes, you heard that right. 2023. And Pennsylvania still has a law from 1861 that makes fortune-telling a crime. So Beck has been suing the federal court to strike it down, arguing that tarot is protected speech and spiritual practice. And the whole thing heads to a hearing this month. So Beck is here to talk about what the hell is going on and also how we can help. So Beck, we're so excited. We have talked about the history of witch trials on this podcast, and we have referenced you many, many times. And we're just very excited to dig into this. I cannot believe this is all happening right now. But before we get into the juice, Beck, what was your magic moment of the week?
Oh my gosh. Well, again, thank you guys so much for having me on. I'm so stoked to talk about this, but my magic moment from last week actually happened during a tarot reading of mine. So it's really, really cool. We had, it's a little bit of backstory, but it's kind of silly. We we have a stamp that we put like on all of our bags, like, you know, our little shopping bags and stuff. And sometimes like if we mess up and put one upside down, like we'll leave it in and whoever like gets that bag or finds it gets like a free reading, right? So
That's
it's
fun.
It's fun. It's like one or two, like it just, you know, there's one or two every so often. So during that reading, I had a client who has been like coming more and more regularly, which is like really, really cool. But they brought me a tarot card it's the strength card, which I really like.
That's so sweet.
And it was just like very touching. Yeah, it was like a very beautiful, like little, like just like human moment. Because like they had asked me like, hey, I don't really like all of the art in the deck, but there are some from the major arcana. Like, would it be disrespectful for me to like, you know, use it in an art project? And to me, I say no, because like if you like it and if you're not going to use the deck anyways, I think you should at least enjoy the art that you like. So I'm going to like frame this and put it up
I love that.
in my office. I think it was just very sweet. So it was like a very nice, like very human kind of moment that I appreciate and magical. Indeed.
I love that.
I love that. I have so many like one-off cards that people have given me, whether it's like at the end of trainings or friends. And I just have like this huge stack of them in the desk on my altar. And I'll often like pull out that energy and put it up. And I love that.
100%. Yeah, it was really, really beautiful. So yeah, and I thought that was kind of poignant because we are talking about tarot and all of that good stuff today. Indeed.
Yes.
Yeah, and especially that card is very apt for the current situation. So I'd love to start at the beginning. It was October, right, of 2023?
Yep.
When you got a call from your local police chief. Or did they come in? I can't remember. I just would love to walk through like the first like 48 hours like of this beginning.
So so it starts all in October of 2023. I live in Hanover, Pennsylvania. It's a small kind of rural area in like south central PA. So if you're thinking like the Maryland PA line, we're like maybe like 30 minutes north of that. I decided to open up my metaphysical store, and as part of that, I wanted our grand opening to be on Samhain. You know, it's a new year, it's a new space, it's like a new venture. It was, to me, kind of significant. And of course, in order to have a grand opening, one has to promote yourself, of course, right? So that way people show up. And certainly people did show up. But what I did was I had contacted our local, like, it's a local nonprofit called Main Street Hanover. And basically what they did was they came in, they sent over like a little reporter, they wrote up a profile on my business and posted on October 3rd, like a Meet the Maker profile that kind of talked about what our shop was, like introduced ourselves to the neighborhood. And that was like, it was very important that, like, obviously it's kind of like a first impression. So I wanted to come across like, I don't know, just like not scary or immediately offensive. Like, I just was like, we have lots of art here and candles. Like, you know what I mean?
I'm a witch, but I'm a cool witch.
Yeah, hello, fellow.
I promise I'm not scary.
Yeah, I'm a vegetarian, I swear. Like, which is true.
That's like the byline of the article. Yeah, they're vegetarian. They swear.
I swear. Well, in the article, there was like a fateful line right at the end that, you know, after all this whole, like, you know, we have different artists and artisans that all kind of like house their wares here. And the last line, they mentioned that if you were interested, you could book a tarot reading with me online through my website. And then, of course, you would come in and we would sit down together, just kind of like you would with a regular sort of appointment. And that line actually got me into a lot of trouble because it turns out that, yes, there is a law dating back to 1861 in Pennsylvania that outlaws fortune telling of any kind, including tarot, astrology, like palm reading, tea leaf reading. Wow. Yeah, any sort. It's a really long paragraph. And it also goes on to outlaw like love spells, like love powders. They literally, it says the word necromancy like in the law.
Oh my God.
So like that's like mediumship, you know, like it's like very
not the necromancy.
Yeah, dude, I know. I was like, dang, it's a really good thing they didn't put that in the article. No, I'm just
right. That's for private clients only.
Like that's like after hours, like, you know, so
exactly,
that
exactly.
Bad. It's an occupancy thing. No. So basically, the police chief of Hanover like read the article because it was posted on Facebook, right? He read the article.
Oh no!
Yeah, I know, dude. Just it from the bowels of Facebook came my plight.
At least you knew they were interested, right? You read till the end of the article.
Yeah,
like, okay, wow. So you were in it for a minute, you know?
No,
amazing.
What they did was they shared it to Facebook and they scrolled, and right before the comment section where they were gonna post their Jesus saves you, they saw tarot and they went illegal.
Right. So the police chief then called the nonprofit and was like, hey, just so you know, I read the article and now I'm going to go talk to the business owner. Like, yeah. So then the nonprofit calls me like crying and they're like, I'm so sorry. Like, I felt so, I was like, dude, how are you supposed to know? Like, listen, right? Like that, like the amount of like weird, like synchronicities that had to happen, right? In order for this thing to kind of happen. Anyways. So they're like, we're so sorry. The police chief is like gonna come and cite a law to you. Like he said, he's not gonna arrest you, but if he has evidence, like they were going on and on.
Oh my God.
And I kind of was just like, okay, thanks so much. And then like hung up and then like immediately called a lawyer.
Yeah.
Like what am I supposed to do?
Good for you.
What am I supposed to do about that?
That's what you're supposed to do.
Exactly. Like, what do you mean you're coming after me for fucking witchcraft, dude? Like, what are we talking about?
How did your community respond to this? Like, was this was there another article about it? Was it just you screaming into the void? Like, what?
So I got the phone call and I immediately, because I was like 25, I was like, I'm gonna make a TikTok about this, and just like to like vent my frustration to like the 12 actual friends that I have in real life, you know. And then like 2 million people saw it. Yeah. Like on TikTok, like it got like millions of views, like it went viral. Like, because everyone was sharing it and was outraged and stuff.
Yeah.
And this was even before the police came, right? So this is like the day. And then like 2 days later, right, they actually finally come in, which like.
So you have to sit with your stomach in your ass for 2 days. I would be like a wreck.
Be fleeing the country.
Man, I'm on a lot of Zoloft, so you know.
Good.
Bless. But yeah, it was definitely like nail biting, to say the least. I think it was nice because it was very cathartic because I could post about it and people were like, yeah, that's crazy, like, because it is.
Mm-hmm. I remember seeing that video and just being like,
what?
Yeah, we had I think we were like 4 months into this podcast. And we were just like, did you fucking see this?
Yeah. And that was like the general consensus, because then it started, like, I know I posted about it like in some local like groups just to be like, hey, you know, this is happening. And like, in a way, it's almost like I put out like a little bat signal where and this is like, I mean this in the nicest way possible, but like every like middle-aged mom like in the tri-state area was like, no, you stay away from my weird baby, like you're my weird baby now, and I'm gonna like, I had so many people like flocking to the shop like with support, because like at the end of the day it is ridiculous that the police are like wasting their time. Because what happened was 2 officers actually came in. It was the police chief and another guy. They came in, and I have like security footage of this that I should probably post again like soon, because it does.
Please.
It's nice to remind people like, hey, this is something that happens actually.
Yeah.
And something that your taxes paid for.
Mm-hmm.
Serpent, protect my ass. Sorry.
Yeah. They never opened an official report. So, a reporter, like a journalist.
You're kidding.
I'm not kidding. They issued a FOIA request, and there was never an official. Yep.
Oh, so they just came in to harass you.
Correct. There was never a complaint. Like, no one made a complaint. Like, there was never an investigation. It was literally just this guy had a bee in his bonnet, and then I guess like felt like he had to show. I don't know. I don't really know. And that's kind of like what we're gonna get into like soon, hopefully. But yeah, so it was him and another officer. I asked like if I could record our conversation on my phone. Like, I literally was like, "Here's my iPhone. Can I record this?" Because I want to make sure that I'm not misunderstanding anything.
Yeah.
And he told me no, because it was a conversation between private citizens, which they're in police uniform, telling me a law. So like, I don't know if they're just, you know, it was just like dress like your best friend day or whatever at work.
So like, were they not clocked in? Like, were they just doing this on their own free time?
Like, I have absolutely no idea. Like, I really don't know. But they did have, I do know that they had their like blue Hanover Borough PD, like polo with their logo. They had their khakis on. Like, they weren't in full, like they weren't strapped. I guess they weren't worried that I was going to like zap them or whatever with like lightning.
Yeah.
You might throw the devil at them.
Yeah.
Careful.
Right. Just like open a pit to hell and like or whatever. But yeah, so they came in, they told me I couldn't record the conversation, to which I said, hey, I'm not really comfortable talking to you then if I don't have a lawyer present, because like...
Yeah, good for you.
Yeah, I'm not going to like further incriminate myself. And I also like educated myself on like wiretapping, because it is a crime to record people without their consent. In Pennsylvania. So if I had been recording anyways after he did that, I could be going to jail for like an even bigger thing, which is crazy.
Totally.
Which is crazy. And so I'm like, okay, well, I'm not trying to like go to jail for witchcraft or wiretapping.
2 W's that I want nothing to do with.
Yeah, I'm like, so amongst many things actually.
Yeah.
But so he basically, after I asked if I could have a lawyer, he kind of sighed and rolled his eyes and was like, you know, I'm just trying to have an adult conversation with you. Like, this doesn't have to be a big deal. And I was like, okay, officer, like,
you threatened to arrest me. Sorry,
yeah, dude.
I'm like so activated in this moment.
No, man.
Even like hearing the story through your TikToks and watching it in real time, hearing it again, like my hands keep balling into fists.
Dude.
Yeah.
I'm ready to fight. I'm ready to fist fight a grown man in Pennsylvania.
Yeah, me too. To be really real with you, so it was honestly like, the vibe was like my dad sending me to my room when I was a teenager. Like, do you know what I mean? It was very much that.
Yeah.
Like, don't do witchcraft. Like, I'm going to take away your tarot cards. Like, you got to go to church and go pray. Like, it was very much.
You're going to go to jail.
Yeah, exactly. And the penalty for this was up to a year in jail per offense. Or a $2,500 fine per offense. And if you look at the law, there's a provision that says advertisement counts as evidence. So they could just screenshot my social media, you know, anytime I'm talking about tarot or whatever. Yeah, dude. And then like what? I got either a $25,000 fine or 10 years in jail. Like what are we doing here? Like,
oh my God.
All because of a bee in someone's bonnet, perhaps, you know?
Yeah.
So
wow.
They cited the law to me. I did have up, and this is something that people kind of like recommend to me, but I have to say, I did this already. I had up signs that say like, this is for entertainment purposes only.
Yeah.
Like, I am not a doctor, a lawyer, a psychologist. Like, I think people kind of like could guess that I went to art school. Like, you know what I mean? So like, I don't think, I'm very much a believer in informed consent. I think that's incredibly important. So I had 3 different places around my shop at the time. It's a different space now, but 3 different places around my shop that I had that sign posted. You also had to book online specifically with me through my website, where you had to check like, hey, I understand this. Like, and it's listed also like in the offering, and then you check your little waiver box, and then I made people like read it again, like in like a book before we went, like almost like ad nauseum, to the point that people are like, we get it, like you don't have, like, do you know what I mean? Like it was
you have to though when you're getting that type of threat and harassment from law enforcement.
And that was even before, like, I really like did my due diligence, because I did know about the law. I used to get my cards read over in Gettysburg, like the town right next to me, maybe 20-30 minutes away. There are so many like witchcraft, metaphysical, like psychic, it's a very like paranormal city, town, whatever. So there's a lot of that there, and that's where I would go to get my cards read. So I asked a lady who literally said to me, I was like, how did you get around this law? Like, I just had my cards read. Like, how are you able to like legally, like, how are you able to do this if there's a law against it? And she looked at me and kind of goes, oh, darling, I've been running my store longer than you've been alive, and I've never had any problems with it. And like, I knew, like, in that moment, I was like, I'm not that lucky, though. Like, I knew, like, I had, like, I'm not saying, like, it was, like, a psychic inclination, but, like, I fucking knew, dude.
Yeah.
Really.
Yeah. I also feel like the last decade has shown, like, such an increase in police just not giving a fuck.
Correct.
And
about anything. Yeah.
Anything, and just pushing and pushing and pushing. So I almost feel like when you're in sort of a fringe group, you know, or not, you know, cis white het able-bodied male who, you know, voted a certain way and wears red hats, you have to do your due diligence and like look at the laws and look at and like cover your ass in so many fucking ways.
Plus I'm a Virgo. Like, what are we talking about? Like,
okay. Yeah.
Come on. Like, as if I don't know. Right.
Yeah.
And so I'm curious as to how, like, clearly that signage did nothing.
Correct. He actually literally verbatim said to me, those little pieces of paper will never hold up in court. That is literally what he said to me. Yeah, dude.
Sounds like he was giving you legal advice. Interesting.
Or like, again, like a threat where it's like, he said to me, I was like, look, I don't know, like, who reported me? And he goes, he literally said to me, if I get any reports or if I hear that you're doing this, I'm going to be back. Like he's the Terminator or something. Like, dude. So like, to me, that is like a very like I mean, not even a veiled threat. Like, that is just, hey, I don't like what you're doing, and I have my eye on you. Like, I'm watching you. Like, it was very much like it felt very Orwellian in a way. But the biggest, like, part of all of this, I don't know that I've actually, like, said yet, I was not the only shop in town. In fact, there were 4 other shops that also offered tarot reading. So, like, or other energy work services like Reiki or mediumship or what have you. In fact, there's a like a yoga studio up the street who I love. Like, I collab with them, but they literally have like a sign on the front that says tarot reading on it, like on their window. Like, do you know what I mean?
They get similar calls, or was it just you?
It was just me. So, yeah. And because when I felt like Paul Revere or whatever, I was like, oh my gosh, the police are like, every business in the area, like, freaked out and like called me. Like, I got and made a lot of friends that way, actually, where I was like, hey girl, like, no worries. Like, don't worry. It's just me apparently for now. But if they come, here's what my lawyer said. Like, it was very, like, in a way, like, I was happy and hopefully, like, was given the opportunity to build some bridges. A lot of the shops, though, they either moved out of town or just, like, aren't around anymore. So I think we're, like, the last, like, metaphysical store.
The last standing tarot reader.
Yeah. But not, like, on purpose. Like, that's not, like, like, that. No. Very, like, that, I don't ever want it to come off like that. No. Like, or seem grandiose. But, like, it was in the moment, like, Hanover, like, was kind of oversaturated. Like, and I think that's also like a piece of, like, the puzzle that is still really puzzling, where it's like, okay, so, like, if I'm the only one getting in trouble, why? A lot of people have, like, speculated that because most of the other stores were run by, like, a couple, like, by, like, a heterosexual couple, and I was, like, you know, like, a queer femme, like, whatever, like, young person. Yeah. Because I was, again, 20, I had just turned 25. So, wow. Yeah, like, and, like, now that, I mean, I'm almost, you know, 29 now.
One hell of a Saturn return.
Right? Yeah, actually, I was 26. Actually, that's a lie. I'm so sorry. But yeah, literally Saturn return. I kind of did this to myself, though. I think, like, low key, like, on accident, because on my birthday September 20th, and this is gonna, again, make sense with math. It was my 26th birthday. But it was also my 13th anniversary of being a witch, because when I was 12 turning 13, I, like, initiated, and I'm going to loosely use that term, right? With, like, Silver Ravenwolf's teen witch, right? Like, under the cover of night in my bedroom. Whether or not that was, like, a real initiation is, like, kind of like whatever. But, like, I did not, like, I kind of from that moment on, like, didn't believe in God. Like, I was not a Christian. Like, I have walked this path, like, in many different ways, and maybe in its infancy. Like, I was definitely a baby witch, like, you know, looking back, like, oh damn, you were in middle school, child. But 26 would have been my 13th anniversary of being a witch. I did some spell work that day on my birthday and stuff, and then, so that was on the 20th. 13 days later is October 3rd. So I really feel like this is something that, like, I'm not trying to be like, it was supposed to happen or it was my fault. But I feel like there is, like, some sort of kind of spiritual significance to, like, when and why and how this is all playing out. And again, I'm not trying to seem, like, grandiose or like this is my mission, but it is kind of weird. And, like,
I'll say it. That feels like it was that you, I don't know, I can go back and forth on this, like, kind of ideology, but it does seem like it happened to the person who had the wherewithal to, when you got that call, you immediately thought to call a lawyer, and you're the one with the fucking, like, that strength to sue in federal court, you know, where I think a lot of people, because so Florida is a little bit different. That's where I have a shop where I have to have a license, a fortune teller's license, which literally all I had to do is get fingerprinted. But we got it out of, and I have to pay the city $75 a year. Like, okay.
Right, exactly.
You know, but I think that, like, I got it out of a place of fear that somebody would hear that I hadn't, crossed my T's and dotted my I's and wanted to get rid of me and would call. And a lot of people in your position, I think, would have been like, well, shit, I have to take this off my website. I have to do this in secret. I have to go back into like the broom closet of it all and do this in secret. And so I will say that has a lot, like that seems to me like it has an incredible amount of spiritual significance because you were ready to be like, fuck no, I'm calling a lawyer and I'm not going to let.
Like, we're not doing this.
I'm
like,
not going to be bullied.
Yeah, exactly.
And so what kind of inspired that choice to sue and take it as far as you have?
So I had a moment. So what my lawyer, when she called me and was like, hey, like, so after all of this, I, again, went viral, got an email from my lawyer, Alexa. And basically she was like, hey, I'm seeing your case. I'm a constitutional lawyer. Did you know that you just had your First and 14th Amendment rights severely violated by a law enforcement officer? And I was like, yeah. And she goes, you should be more angry about this. Like, and I remember like that moment of being like, okay, let me lock in really quick because maybe I am not actually taking this that seriously. She kind of like laid out the steps for me. She was kind of like, here's what we can do. But so basically, on the 31st, we filed our first like request for temporary injunction, which basically is a piece of paper that the police department could have given me that says, hey, we realize that this law is unconstitutional and we are not going to enforce it on you. Like, we, like, sorry, like, we effed up, like, don't worry about it because we can't enforce unconstitutional laws because that's, it's illegal. So we went back and forth for almost an entire year with the Hanover Borough lawyer, like the lawyer for the police department, because they were basically arguing that, well, if it's on the books, then it can't be an unconstitutional law. So if it's on the books, we have to.
I'm sorry. Can we?
That's the best you've got.
That's all. If they wrote it down once, it can't be unconstitutional. Yeah, because we've never repealed laws ever.
I don't know if like the Bill of Rights means anything to anybody, but
yeah, I'm like,
that was like they would not budge. And then we finally were like, okay, and then filed a formal like federal lawsuit like against the Hanover Borough, the Hanover police chief. Essentially like the state of Pennsylvania, basically. Like it got escalated up to that point because we are challenging like a law that is on like the books.
Right.
So while it started as like Beck versus Hanover, now it's like Beck versus the state of Pennsylvania. And I'm like,
wow,
over here,
so wild. Yeah.
So what is the hearing on July 22nd? Yes. Like, can you walk us through what is that? And then what are the next steps? Like, what is this process?
It is so complex. So apologies if it does get confusing. I'm always happy to clarify. Cause like I said, I went to art school, dude. Like I'm not like, I don't have the legal brain for like, there's a lot of Latin involved. I don't know. But,
Sure.
No, I love it. We sued them. Basically, the DA has been trying to dismiss the case since August of 2024.
Wow.
Yeah. So they keep just filing like motions to dismiss, being like, no, the law is right. Like, no, like this is just stupid. Like this is
doubling
doesn't
down.
matter. Like it's not worth the fourth time. Yeah, dude. Because they don't want to deal with it. And then finally, okay, also as part of this, the judge that was originally assigned to my case, like, retired. So they had to like assign a new judge who also had a case. So it's been on the back burner for a lot.
Wild.
So finally, like 3 or 4, maybe a month ago, I got a call I was in the middle of like a vendor meeting with some of my consignment folks. And I get a call from my lawyer that was basically like, hey, the judge has finally denied for the final time any motion to dismiss this case and has required us to like try the case and for her to pass down judgment.
Hell yeah.
Which is really cool, man, because I honestly like when I signed on to do this, my lawyer was like very upfront. She was very much like, hey, this can take up to 10 years to do, dude. Like, are you sure you want to do that? And again, at the time I looked at like, you know, my life and I was like, well, okay, I wouldn't even be 40. So what do I have to lose, man? Like that is like, what do I have to lose? Because it's probably not going to take 10 years. Hopefully it won't. But now that we have our next, like I have a conference call like with the court on July 22nd. And basically, I will probably just be silent and like listening, honestly, because Lord knows they don't want me speaking quite yet. But they'll basically go through like a schedule of like events. So first things first, we have what's called discovery, which if you guys are into like procedurals or like true crime, this is where like the evidence is presented. So it's kind of like I get to hand over all of my like text messages, like all of my like emails around the time of the supposed, like as if I'm like to prove, you know, I'm not like going out there scamming people. Like I'm not like using tarot as like a guise to be like, ah, yes, and you can only see me and you must give me $10,000. Like I'm not like, dog, my readings cost between like 20, well, technically between free and like $100 for an entire hour of my time. Like,
if you find that upside down bag.
Yeah, right. Like
there's no money exchanged.
Yeah, exactly. Oh my gosh. So basically I get to like, we go through discovery and hopefully at that point we'll kind of find out like where the chief kind of like got involved. So like all of that's going to be laid out. Then there will be some sort of like presentation of arguments, whether that is again, either written and like submitted or actually argued is going to be up to the judge. So I'll find that out in a couple days. And then finally there will be like an actual hearing, or the judge will again just be like, and legalized or not. Like, do you know what I mean? So it is winding up to be like slightly anticlimactic, but I'm really hoping that like, it's like an easy conversation to have and that the judge like kind of sees sense. Because we're not here saying like, you know, we need to turn Pennsylvania into New Salem, even though I would like that.
Could be fun.
It could be fun.
Like everyone must be a witch in order to live here. Like it's not that, but it's more so, hey, we need to like decriminalize, like we can't have this law on the books in a way that is so like loosely translatable, I guess.
Yeah.
Or loosely
up to interpretation of whatever asshole.
Yeah, exactly. Because there are already laws on the books that stop what people are who are on the side of the law are like worried about. So in Pennsylvania, the fortune telling law has never ever been like successfully prosecuted on its own. It's always been kind of tacked on to the back of like a really big fraud case.
Okay.
Yeah.
Like the flavor of the scam was like, I'm Miss Cleo, and I like, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
For the low price of $5,000, I'll remove your curse.
Exactly, like that kind of stuff. Like, I know where your dead daughter is, and I can only help you if you sign over your house. Like, dude, like that is not like not even close to what we do here. Like, like not even like by a long shot. And I really think that like had the police officer, like had he truly come in like, I don't know, a t-shirt, like a Pink Floyd t-shirt and like cargo shorts, dude, I think we could have actually had like a human conversation and been like, hey, here's what we do here. And this is how it's part of my spirituality. And here are my prices. And no, you don't actually have to do this if you don't want to. And if you don't want to, I will not force this upon you because that goes against like my spiritual and like moral like code of ethics, I guess.
Yeah. So is the goal at the end of this trial to remove the law entirely?
Yes, just so that...
Or rewrite it?
We are looking to get it off the books entirely because it is unconstitutional. Like, I don't think that there should be any sort of, like, prohibition on tarot reading, like, or divination. And a lot of people have, like, mentioned, like, there are states that have, like, a witch's license, so to speak, or a fortune teller's license. And, like, super fair. Like, I think that is like, for me, like, I would accept that, like, as like a compromise.
Yeah.
But I do think that this law just really needs to be taken a look at, either amended or preferably just taken off the book, so it can't be used as a way to oppress people. Because, like, even with the licensing process, who's to say that, like, someone won't make it impossible to get one?
Right.
For sure.
Right.
Yeah.
You know?
And it really targets like people without as much privilege, right? Because it's usually, historically, people doing this have been women or common folk or midwives or whatever, you know?
The history of the law, because I've done a lot of research on this. I'm so sorry.
Yeah, tell us the history.
Never apologize.
No, I am locked in. I am sat for this history.
Okay.
Give us the history.
Listen, this is like such an important, again, there's a lot of pieces to this, but in the 1850s, there, like about 10 years before this law went into effect, there were no fortune-telling laws prior to this. Maybe one in the 1780s, but that was repealed because people were like, witches, that's superstition. We're men of science.
In Pennsylvania or everywhere?
In Pennsylvania.
Okay.
But in the 1850s, there was this really big movement of Roma or Romani people immigrating to Pennsylvania. And it was like tarot reading, divination. This is a cultural practice for sure. But it was also it's a minority practice, but it was one done like under the table and within closed communities. So you couldn't tax it, dude.
Oh.
So they made it a crime to do for gain or lucre, which is specifically nebulous and vague, because people were exchanging fucking chicken eggs and shit. Like, because it was 1861. So like the circumstances, like it's a law that's based in racism and xenophobia in the first place. Like, you know,
as most anti-witch laws are.
You know? Yeah. But it is also one that like discriminates very heavily against like people of color, like marginalized groups, queer people, or just simply people who are outside of like the acceptable, like, you know, purview of the law. And that is like folk practitioners and witches too. Like that, it's like that marginalized or like liminal space, if that makes sense.
Yeah, that's what we learned when we did the history of the witch trials episode, is like midwives were considered witches under the law after men started to go to school for medical training. And it was like, interesting how that came out.
Or like how, so like the big conical hat, like that you see a lot of witches. There's two different, but like the alewives specifically, like women were allowed to brew beer at home because that was just something women did. Until in the 1400s, in like Belgium, you had to like be part of a guild to be a brewer, to have your brewing ability, and you couldn't join a guild if you were a woman. So like it was all very like women were able to kind of make money for themselves doing this, and it was seen as like this grab or vie for power. And I do really think that kind of similar, that same conversation, like in a much smaller way, obviously, is being highlighted in this situation too. Because it's like, really? Like, you're going to try, like, we're policing something that kindly, witchcraft and spirituality, most of my clients are like women or femme presenting. I would say like 80% of the people that I read for are like femme or queer or like women, like honestly. And I do really think that like that sort of community and that sort of space can be incredibly threatening to people who, one, don't understand it, and two, are maybe in opposition to it, even if they do understand it.
Absolutely.
Totally. So something I'm curious about, because it was something I had to learn about a lot when I opened my space with the licensing of it all. And I agree. The license is not like, it's very whatever. I got fingerprinted. I had to go to the police station. Everybody at the police station was like, what are you talking about?
What are you here for?
Like, what do you mean? It's like a fun thing I get to carry in my wallet and tell people as like a fun fact, you know? I'm like licensed to read your fortune.
Yeah, that's so sick.
I do feel like there are so many of our listeners and people in general who are reading cards or doing energy work or any kind of divination in states that have laws like this sitting on their books that they don't know about, or hear the same thing of, I've been doing this since before you were born and I've never had a problem.
Yeah.
I'm curious, like, what is it that you wish you had known before this all started?
Oh, gosh. That is a really good question, because I knew about it. Like, I think it was kind of some of that, like maybe naivete of being, again, like 26 years old, 25, 26. I think that, like, I think it's just very important to educate yourself on, like, the legalities of the things that you're doing. Like, it was not something that I am, like, super unfamiliar with. I also used to live in Baltimore, and read cards in Baltimore, and it's illegal to do that there, even though, like, Maryland has like taken their laws off the book, basically. So it's kind of like a jurisdictional thing. And I think that, again, if people want to continue to read their cards, I honestly, dude, is this likely to happen again after all of this? I don't know, maybe, probably, but, like, in a way, I hope that people can see this and also feel empowered to like use the systems that be to their advantage, right? Like, because I'm not, it's not me taking on the legal system. It is my lawyer, right? And I, like, had I not done that, I think we would be in a very different spot. And I probably would not have my shop or be, like, reading cards if I didn't, like, kind of ask a grown-up for help, so to speak. Like, you know?
Yeah.
And so are you reading cards right now? Like, what is the legality of everything while we're in the middle of this all?
So it's actually really crazy. I am technically the only person in Pennsylvania right now that can legally read tarot cards, because I am challenging the law.
Put that on your resume.
I know.
The only legally allowed tarot reader in Pennsylvania. Like, I want a sign on your marquee.
I need a t-shirt.
Yeah, I'm literally, right? I was granted what's called, like, the temporary injunction. I was granted that in February of 2025. So basically, it's an agreement between myself and the Borough of Hanover that says they are not going to arrest me for reading tarot cards as long as I keep my signs up and I don't change any of the wording, which, good, wasn't planning on it anyways. And I have to stay in the Hanover Borough, otherwise they can't guarantee, you know, that whatever. But guess where my shop is conveniently located? Amazing.
Yeah.
So what I do, I live in a downtown area, so, like, I read cards at my shop, and then I'll go across the street to my friend's shop, and then I'll go over to the coffee shop, and it's all within the district. It's all within plain sight, actually, I would say, of the police station. So it is definitely, it was really freeing. But before that, I was still reading cards, but it was a gray area. It was kind of, I had to make that decision every day of, am I going to do this or am I not?
Yeah, to, like, assume that risk.
Right. Am I going to take
hard.
this? But also at the same time, I really, like, had the feeling that because of how big this got, they would be kind of stupid to come in and really try that again. Like, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Not a good look to arrest you.
Right. Like, there was kind of, like, maybe a false sense of bravery, or, like, maybe kind of like a whatever. But I was kind of like, you know what? Like, I can't. And again, maybe that's just my personality. It's my Taurus moon. I'm real stubborn. But I just really, I didn't want people to be afraid. And that was, like, the main first wave of things. Like, when I tell you, every metaphysical store in, like, within 20 miles, if not further, like, called within the first week to be like, one, we're so sorry, which was very sweet. And two, like, hey, what did your lawyer tell you to do? Which, again, super fair.
Yeah.
But I kind of just was like, this is what I know, but, you know, you should probably, and any business owner should have, like, some sort of contract lawyer, business lawyer, like, or at least the contact info, like, of one, just to have on hand, because people are crazy.
It's a very litigious world we live in.
Yeah, for real.
One of the things that I've really admired about you, Beck, from afar is how you have maintained this, like, this energy of like, I'm not backing down. We're not going to be afraid. We are going to stand on this. And you've also been really good at bringing people into the conversation in a collaborative way. Like
100%.
I think sometimes there's this, as you're talking, I'm like, oh yeah, you could really easily like run all these businesses out of town because you're the only one able to.
Dude, I would never do that though.
No, I know. And like, that's the thing I really admire about you is you've been such a like, I'm doing this and my lawyer's doing this for the community and standing on this and like making this change that is not just going to affect you, Beck, but like, I hope you see that, at least from my perspective, you are going to be written about 100 years ago, 100 years from now. You know what I mean? Like, of like,
it's true though.
But like, it's so true. Like, you are really spearheading this in a world where I feel like I'm seeing a new witch hunt on the news every single day.
Yeah, dude.
To be able to make a stand like this is so powerful. And I know over the last couple of weeks, my like community of Reiki training graduates and our Patreon and our listeners have just been talking about how inspired they are by you and your story and what you're doing. And I know that you have like a community ritual that you have offered. Can you speak about that and maybe some other ways the community can get involved?
Absolutely. So that has always been like the cornerstone of like what I want here. Like I've always been kind of like, I've always been kind of an outcast. Surprise, surprise. I became a witch, you know?
Shocking. We don't know anything about that.
Yeah, we wouldn't understand that at all.
We were actually really cool in high school and weren't bullied at all.
I was so popular. Everyone was my friend. No.
I definitely wasn't a theater kid.
Yeah, no, me either. Oh my God.
I was definitely invited to my 10-year high school reunion.
Same girl.
Did you get excluded too?
Yeah, I don't actually know that we had one. Who knows? And you know
there's a Facebook page. It's been a topic of conversation on this podcast. There's a Facebook page that I was not invited to.
That's garbage. I am so, you know what, girl? You don't need that anyways. Like high school reunions, please. Like,
I wasn't gonna go. To be clear, was never
everyone at your
never gonna go.
Never gonna
everyone
go
at your reunion follows the pod.
Yeah.
So.
Oh God, it was really funny.
Anyways, so your ritual and
your community. How can our community get involved and get behind you?
July 22nd. So sorry. On July 22nd, I have my phone call at 10:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. So if people want to do it like at that time, awesome. It is a Wednesday though. So like if you're at work, you can do this at any time. And that's really kind of like, I actually plan on making a video as well. I'm probably going to pin it, kind of going over the instructions and everything again, because I want people to feel creative, but also give some direction. So basically, I wrote up the instructions for a candle spell, like a very simple candle spell. There are 3 different color options. You can pick 1, you can pick 2, you can pick all 3. It does not matter. Each color has like a different intention associated with it, whether it is like empowering, like the, the energy behind our lawsuit to be successful, to protect witches and to protect this kind of case in Pennsylvania, and also to just banish the like negative law from the books, so to speak.
Yeah.
I then listed out a couple of different herbs that I use personally in like justice workings, or just in general, like in my practice, like in association with this. There's like 6 to 10, I think, or not, whatever.
Yeah.
But you don't need to use all of them. And that is something that I really want to get across. Please pick 1 or 2. You can use all of them, but you don't need to, because some of them are kind of funky. Yeah, use what you have to make the soup, you know? Then after all of that, like on the at 10:30, if you want to light your candle and kind of let the anointed and herb rolled candle burn all the way down, I've also asked people if they feel so inclined to write a letter to a representative or in Pennsylvania, or if you're from outside Pennsylvania, it can be any representative that you want. But if you wanted to look up, they all have their addresses online, so you can just pick one if you want. But to write a letter, either describing like how this law has like affected you, or like what you hope to see with this, or anything else that's like on your heart that you really feel like the powers that be, the lawmakers, legislators, and like the representatives of our community, like need to hear.
Yeah, like a petition for justice.
Right. And like in whatever, like for whatever is afflicting your community, right? Because it's always going to be different. It's always going to be, you know.
I have chills.
Yeah, exactly. So if there's something else that like you're feeling like empowered to speak out about, I hope that can also be kind of a platform for it. And then of course you nail it with intention.
I love it. I love that you made a spell, and we're going to link your post about it in the description of this episode with a bunch of other links from Beck too. So if you're like, wait, I wasn't writing that down. I know one of my Reiki training graduates she's in Pennsylvania as well. And she was so inspired by this ritual that she's literally leading like a group event in our community, in our graduate community.
I love that.
So a bunch of our folks are coming together and doing that. Yeah. She was like, can I do this? And I was like,
sure.
Yes.
Yeah, totally.
I should do that at the store.
You should. Yeah.
Let's do. I'm gonna. Yeah. That.
Yeah, man.
Would you mind sharing your list with us as well, so we could post about it too?
We can put it in our Patreon. And share it wide.
Thank you for doing that. I so appreciate that.
That's incredible. I love that way of like bringing together collective energy.
Yeah. To me, this is so stupid. I am so inspired by pop culture, like movies and like
I don't think
TV
that's stupid at all.
That's not stupid. We talk about Love Island constantly as a psychological, as a way of understanding the world we live in.
Literally. So one of my favorite movies of all time is the Lord of the Rings trilogy. And all I can think of is like, hope is kindled, like all these lights. So that's like the goal. Like, if that makes sense, is just to be like, hey, we're not like, it's not just like one community that is like affected by this. Like it's a state and possibly other states and other municipalities too. So
and countries too. Yeah, we have people who want to be involved in the ritual that are like in Australia and like France and everything. I think that's I love this working because it's so simple.
Correct.
Anyone can do it, right? Like if you have a birthday candle,
exactly,
and some salt, you're good.
100%, dude. Like whatever you have, you know,
it doesn't have to be a one and done, right? This could be like anytime you are feeling pissed off or disempowered from the world, like you can do this working. And I love that there's actually not just the energetic component, but an actionable component, like writing to representative, getting to know who they are. I know I was thinking about, as you were talking, we have elections later in this year coming up. So even just sitting there while the candle's burning and researching your local elections, who's on your city council, like what are they deciding on? Like a lot of city councils are streamed through Facebook or are recorded and put online. Like read those notes, like get involved. I know for me, when I do this, I'm writing letters to our city council because right now there's like a big vote around if Amazon should put like a big
data center. Yep.
Data center in our tiny rural town. Yeah. And I'm just like, no.
We're not doing this. Yeah.
Yeah. And so it could be something like that where it's like, maybe you don't have a witch law on your books, but it's like there's some other form of oppressive working that is happening that you can take a stand and put a petition out in the universe for. And I just love it. I love how simple it is.
Well, I figure if people can stand up for tarot, like, because it's pretty easy to stand up for, right? It's pretty cool, I think.
Yeah.
Then that's just another footstep to taking. Well, there's something else, like there are bigger things too. And so through our work here, like, we have a lot of like free community circles, free like gatherings and stuff, but we also try to give back to our community. Like we work with we actually work with like a local church to like feed folks who are unhoused. Like we collect blankets and do like all sorts of stuff like that. So we definitely, we do our best to like, I really think what magical intention needs to be met with mundane action. Like that is like so much like of a core philosophy. And I hope that this gives people like an opportunity to see that the mundane action doesn't have to be big, but it could be mail in a letter. you know?
Yeah. Even a postcard, like, and the thing I love about it too, Beck, is I feel like this whole story is such an embodiment of the way that I view witchcraft as a whole, where I think a lot of times social media, the way it portrays like quote unquote to be a true witch, it's like very me focused, it's very self-focused. But my understanding of like witchcraft is, yes, we're doing our own workings, but it's in the service of the whole.
Yeah.
And it's for the community, and just taking a stand on something like this and not letting yourself be a doormat, you are supporting so many marginalized people and communities and giving people hope. And I think that is like what spell work is all about for me. It's like not just about changing the me, but changing the we for the better.
I agree. Like I really, and I hope that is what comes across. Like, cause I don't really care like about like whether or not, like, it's not about, oh my gosh, a guy came into my store and yelled at me. It's like, okay, that happens on a weekly basis. Like, like that's clearly not
dude, same.
Yeah, man, like whatever. But it's also like, it sucks so bad, like to have that happen. I would hate for anybody else to have to go through it. And like, I'm self-aware enough to know that I'm enough of an asshole to weather the storm of this.
Yeah.
You know what? Actually, I may not be a monolith, but I can be a pebble in the shoe. Indeed.
I love it.
I love that.
Very David versus Goliath.
Right?
I'm into it.
To put it in terms they would understand.
Yeah, for real. For real.
So,
oh my goodness.
Beck, thank you so much for this conversation. I feel like we could talk to you all day. I feel like we run our businesses in very similar ways. I would love to talk more about your brick and mortar of it all.
100%.
Because it's such an interesting beast. Where can our listeners find you if they want to stay updated? Also, would you be interested in coming and doing like an update post hearing?
Yeah.
1,000%. Yeah.
Okay, love. We can schedule that off mic.
I'm like I said, I'm a yapper. I love any opportunity to talk. I'm like, hello, if you can imagine on my report card, it was like very friendly. Like, loves to visit.
But in the meantime, where can everybody find you to keep up to date?
Yes, so we are, I'm over on TikTok under the Stitching Witch, all one word. Just be aware, there are many that look like me, but aren't.
Oh, yeah,
Sure.
Yeah, we'll link the real one in the description.
Yeah. And then I'm over on Instagram under the Serpent's Key with underscores between the words, and the Stitching Witch with underscores between the words as well. So if you want to see what we're doing at the shop, find out about the events that we have going on, because we are always doing something. We have between 1 to 3 rituals per month, like community spaces to come together just to like be. So all that info is on there. They're very chill. Like they are actually like the most casual, like probably to a fault sometimes. But it is like to give people a comfortable space to experience like group worship in a way that is like not like, let me take attendance. Like it's not mandatory, but it is still like there is a structure there, you know? But yeah, and of course, if you want to traverse the dark caverns of Facebook, we're over on Facebook for under the Serpent's Key. But that is us, indeed.
Amazing. Thank you so much, Beck. I feel like I'm like counting down the days to hear what happens. I'm sure you are like, even more so than me.
Yeah, I can only imagine.
So I'm very eager to see kind of what happens at your hearing, to hear those updates. So definitely follow Beck so that you are up to date. And thank you so much, Beck, for coming in. Thank you for just holding this torch for all of us and like preparing to burn down like the Old Testament of 1861.
Oh my gosh, I know. Isn't that so silly?
Yeah, it's an inspiration, and we're so excited to see it unfold.
Thank you.
Okay, did we do it?
I think we did it.
Okay. Well, all the info about Beck and what's happening is down in the description of this episode if you want to check it out. And until next time, we'll see you then. Bye. Thanks for listening to Demystify Magic with Molly and Madison. All our links, from spells to ceremonies to ways to support us, are waiting in the show notes.
We'd love to hear your magic moment of the week. Share it in a review, tag us on socials, or bring it to our Patreon clubhouse at demystifymagic.com.
And remember, you are the magic.
Okay, love you.
Bye.